Bible dictionary, what does the word heart mean? It says, according to the Bible, the heart is the center not only of spiritual activity, but of all the operations of human life. Heart and soul are often used interchangeably. So, if you really want to put all these things together, the mind, the heart, the soul, they all work together. And the unregenerate human heart, I looked that word up too. It says not regenerated, not renewed in heart, remaining at enmity with God. So we want to avoid that unregenerate mind or heart. We got to know who's in control of our heart. 1 Corinthians 2:16, for who had known the mind of the Lord, that he may instruct him, but we have the mind of Christ. So that is what we need, the mind of Christ, so we avoid all the pitfalls that come with having a regenerate human heart or mind. Ellen White, she has a statement here. The mind controls the whole man or person. All our actions, good or bad, have their source in the mind. It is the mind that worships God and allies us to heavenly beings. So we got to keep our mind clean and pure if we are to avoid hardships that could be avoided. Here they say, quite frankly, the Bible does not have much good to say about human hearts that are unsurrendered to Jesus Christ. As we see in the world, especially the war in Ukraine, you wondered what's that Putin got in his chest. Terrible things. How can he watch that and keep doing it? So that's what a regenerate heart can do. So we want to avoid that and have a pure heart before God. Here in Isaiah 26:3, it says, thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusted in thee. So that's what we want, this perfect peace. If we dwell on the Lord and think on him, I think there is a scripture that gives us anything good, anything honorable, dwell on those things. So we keep our mind healthy and pure. We do not want to lose our mind, but have the mind of Christ. These prayers on the next page says, keep your heart focused on Jesus. That is what we want to do day after day. If we worship in the morning and the evening, it helps us to keep focused on the Lord. If we get up in the morning, fly off to work, you never think about the Lord. So that's not good. And then out of it spring the issues of life out of the heart. So we have to avoid hypocrisy wherever we can and allow just the good influences to in our life, not the bad ones. Ellen White, she gave a statement here. We were watching her live on YouTube today, and when she would go into a vision, they say she'd stop breathing, how that could work. And sometimes it was for hours, not just a few minutes. So it has to be a miracle that she could come out of it and suffer no ill effects. And here she says, we do not value the power of prayer as we should. We do not value the power and efficacy. And this word efficacy means the ability to produce a desired or intended result. So we do not value the power and efficacy of prayer as we should. Prayer and faith will do what no power on earth can accomplish. We are seldom in all respects placed in the same position twice. We continually have new scenes and new trials to pass through, where past experience cannot be a sufficient guide. We must have the continual light that comes from God. Now this statement, we are seldom in all respects placed in the same position twice. So that means here tonight we'll never be in this same position again. It's very seldom it happens. Something will be different next time we meet. So if we try and rush through life, we'll miss the great blessing that we're only in each position once for the most part. I know that it's kind of a sad thing, but last year my sister and her husband visited us here in Chilliwack, and we met for lunch at the mall, and he was not too talkative, but I tried to talk to him, and that's the last time we ever seen him. He passed away. So this is what can happen. If you rush through things, you can regret it later. So try and be there at the moment and never rush. So one more night, and then I think it was night 3 or that Jayda was here, and he was asking, what can we do after the 10 days of prayer to continue a spiritual walk with the Lord? A year ago, it was that we began our early morning prayer group, and it's gone the entire year, still doing it. So what can we do this year? So when we were trying to decide on a format for our Wednesday night prayer group, everybody had all kind of ideas, but nobody thought of asking the Lord, what would you suggest that our format be? So I did that. I asked the Lord, and He gave me 5 elements in the suggestion. That the first one, we say an opening prayer, and sing a few hymns, and everyone voice out their prayer requests and concerns. Then a talk by the meeting leader, just 10 or 15 minute talk, and then the season of prayer. And then if there any time left, we could read from any of the publications. So this is the suggestion the Lord gave for our midweek prayer meeting. So I asked the Lord, what can we do after this 10 days of prayer? And he gave me a partial answer, but it's not complete, so I don't want to say nothing until I get all the answer. So there is things we can do to carry on, not to let our spiritual life lapse, but keep a strong prayer life to the Lord. Go ahead.
Stephen, we already decided we're going to use Maranatha.
Okay.
It's January day 25. And Rachel is leaving us.
Okay.
We already decided, so please, I hope you forgive us.
No, that part
Because
is
we have to keep going. We are not going to stop.
that part is okay, but the format, how you
We can follow this format.
yeah. The Lord said if you open with opening prayer, God is much more attentive to our prayer requests. If you don't start with an opening prayer, it's not as good. Go ahead.
And I think opening prayer is just like what Jesus mentioned in the that we have to give adoration to God, right? Not just jump into the supplication. Dear God, I want to get the food today.
Yeah.
Amen. Give me right now.
Mhm.
No, there is also yeah, there is also order because
Mhm.
God is God Almighty God, right? So opening prayer is very important. And
Yeah.
one thing we did in our family is we use the acronym of ACT, ACTS. So A is stands for adoration, C confession, T thankful, thanksgiving, and S is supplication.
Mhm.
So that's what we learned from. Yeah, opening prayer is very important.
That's right. We have to honor the Lord when we come to Him. Go ahead.
I have something that has come out through these 10 days of prayer. The most important one is our personal devotion. That must come first, not group.
Right.
Then come the family worship, and then the others. And then tonight you were talking, or the other night, I don't know which night was it, that Jesus is a warrior, a prayer warrior.
Mhm.
He doesn't every night pray the whole night.
No.
It's
No.
only when he was selecting his disciple to do weird work,
Mhm.
he did that. And when he was going to the cross, he did that. Not all the time, but he did it. So we must not forget that too. So
And
don't expect that we are going to pray every night, whole night. It's not
no,
possible.
no. And also when he was walking on the water, he prayed late. But
Well, you have lots of different personalities too, and I mean,
Mhm.
some of us like to take charge. We're type A's. We go, 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 and other people are more quiet and laid back. We have to somehow all be understanding of that. And so that's why I think a format is a really good idea, just to keep it so everyone knows this is how it stays.
And another thing the Lord indicated, He doesn't like us breaking up into small groups. Stay as one group. So I don't know how you view that.
So I have an experience with staying in one group during prayer meeting. I went to GYC this past December, and it's a youth conference for young adults and those who are young at heart for the SDA Church. And we did prayer meeting every single day for 4 days at 6 o'clock in the morning. So we would start with, so their format, this is just an example, but their format is they start at 5:30 a.m., everybody in person, 600 people, 800 kids packed in a ginormous place. And we start with singing for 15 minutes, and then a very short devotion of 10 minutes, and then we start praying for about an hour.
Mhm.
And the way that they do it is one person would be in the middle, and then it would be a big circle. Everybody kneeling or sitting if they can't kneel, and people would. It would be the format of ACTS exactly because that's the format that Jesus gives.
That's right. If you break up into small groups, you don't know what the other group is doing, so that's not too. Yeah, you kind of lose contact with each other. So.
Well, and the format really helps to kind of guide people who really like to talk and talk and talk and talk. It helps them to remember that there's some rules.
Okay, so that's about all that I had to present. Now it's still lots of 15 minutes, wow, for prayer. Maybe we could go into season of prayer now. Yeah, thank you.